cost recovery will be don't stop for operates from 2013. Famulem cost recovery operations don't come back in a connaught hospital. They start with connaught hospital. So let us not go na Okupa hospital or Kiaba would say, hey, I look for cost recovery. No. For now, we don't start on a connaught hospital. Now they cost recovery don't start. So if you get patients here and you want drugs in a connaught hospital, cost recovery hospital did it now, where we run on a public-private partnership system with a private partner, effective and efficient. We don't launch until 10 o'clock. They assure the public on behalf of the ministry, say the pharmacy go open 24 hours around the clock, anytime, any hour you go there, people can go there for serve you.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. E don done. E no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for your help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
From our New Englandville studios, good morning and welcome to the final edition of the program. Good morning, Salon, for this week, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. One for big pardon, we start the program a bit late. Today, na Friday, June 4th, 2021. We will bring the program come to you this Friday morning. My name na Khadija Bangura.
And me na Waniga Oja.
And we can out to studio guest, we na Cyrus Sheriff, in the focal person at the Public-Private Partnership Program at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Today, we can talk about the cost recovery program within the start for do at the Connaught Teaching Hospital. Well, the Public-Private Partnership, a unit where they under the Vice President in office, but this unit gets focal person a key agency them where they help for coordinate the activities of the PPP. So one part of the activity there na cost recovery, and from 2013 to now, this cost recovery of the PPP be don't tap force for operate. Now the Ministry of Health and Sanitation they try for reintroduce the cost recovery aspect of the PPP. Usai then they use the first phase when at the cost recovery and the pilot phase of this project. Then they start na the Connaught Teaching Hospital. Well, what are some of the benefits them where this cost recovery project, and especially the first phase where then they start for pilots and the Connaught Hospital, whose impact it go make na the health sector and how it go benefit well body workman them. Cyrus Sheriff go can tell we more about this pilot phase where then go start at the Connaught Teaching Hospital. Good morning one more time, Mr. Sheriff, and welcome again to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Yeah, good morning, Khadija.
All right, I don't make attempt to give a brief background about the Public-Private Partnership units where they under the Vice President in office, and this unit gets focal person at each MDA them, when a key MDA them, where under the help for coordinate the activities of the PPP.
Correct.
But before we come look at the pilot phase of the project, we gonna go launch na the Connaught Teaching Hospital, we the cost recovery phase. First, try for give listeners them how una coordination don't they work as focal person them between the PPP and that of the agency they owner they represent.
Yeah, so the PPP units they under the office of the Vice President, where they help facilitate and support agencies we want to put service delivery or activities them through the public-private partnership model. So, Famolengwano within a public-private partnership. In brief, now an arrangement, a legal arrangement where the public and the private partner or private entity they come together, pull all man they put in small resources with the objective of delivering one service to the people. Okay, so this one now the cost recovery now one of the service standing. So cost recovery in 2013 we don't stop for operate. So cost recovery, if you want with a cost recovery, now the pharmacy where hospital and they use for sell medicine them below market price to the public. So, for example, if Panadol and they sell at 10,000 units, the government they buy the Panadol and sell it to the public below 10,000 units. But this cost recovery not be done the work fine in the last almost year. So we make the different managements that we be done for manage cost recovery not ever successful. So from 2013 we the government stop for use the cost recovery, hospital and not be done they get drugs people and go buy other than the free healthcare drugs. Free healthcare drugs they, but general drugs where you go say where they outside the free healthcare domain, where public supposed for buy, where if you get patients who sick, people and they go on the streets or go buy them. So when the new direction administration come, then decide for work with the public-private partnership unit, where they identify a focal person at the Ministry of Health, for say, okay, do an assessment of the thing the way we want, that we put on a PPP model with the leadership of the then minister and the chief medical officer and the technical people there at that time. So we get list of activities that we'll put for a PPP delivery. And again, Fambolem, the PPP model of service delivery now one of President Bio in promises them with already articulated in the medium-term development plan. We say as a way of improving service delivery, the use of public-private partnership model in health will be one of the best ways. And now so we take for put cost recovery in the platform.
So I was talking about service delivery. Me and you say not to secret say service delivery in one aspect so they get serious challenge because of many issues where don't they come up na different MDs them where camp and service delivery. Now they try for reintroduce the PPP model where we don't tap operation since 2013.
Correct.
Taking into consideration all the challenges there, so we get for those service delivery. Reintroducing the PPP model, how this go help for bring sanity in the area of service delivery? Okay,
me I to know say when government they do business and when private partner they do business, it's different. So waiting the ministry do now that we invite a private partner now for camp. So we start this process, we go through all the legal processes, we set up the technical working group, we do a concept and we launch a bid through the procurement process. We go through all the legal gymnastics onto identifying a private partner. So that private partner now we don't operate pharmacy for almost a year. Now get for go establish in pharmacy na connaught. So waiting the government they provide now the infrastructure, they also make sure say the patients the way they for buy na the pharmacy. Then they self na default because if patients know say then they sell drugs na the pharmacy below what they sell na street, the patient na the pharmacy go buy. Save for the same way sometimes the pharmacy no will get that particular type of drug at all. But the part of waiting the private partner ensure within a mandate now for ensure say the range of drugs them way the pharmacy, the doctors and they prescribe is supposed to get them readily available. So in terms of service delivery, this now a private partner they do business with government for support government in waiting government will be supposed to do enable do well. We say okay, private partner can't help you do this fine. So the service delivery will be enhanced because that private partner they invest the money with the aim of for full profit.
Okay.
If you go there today with the launcher at 10 o'clock. If you go there, you see the facility. You know say
So
this
so
is
before we
difference.
can talk about the facilities them, people know say where government and private sector them combine for do business, the risk, especially in the private sector side, a much. So what's the concrete arrangements where una don't make in going into business with the private sector?
So like I say, we don't go through all the legal gymnastics. We don't get a contract signed. Okay, and for ensure that contract say all the two parties then follow them, we get to call the contract management committee we will establish where include parts of the ministry and parts of the private partner own team. So we all there as one. So we discuss issues like rent, we discuss issues like utility, we anything we critical to the operations of the pharmacy, we discuss under the contract management team. If we're able to solve at that level, they will take under the political leadership.
So in terms of profits sharing, how are they doing?
At this point, we not really focus on profits. We not talk about profit because, like I say, like we Khadija talk with the pilots and the pilot phase this. So we not really talk about profit now at this point. Waiting government want ensure and introduce. Now for let the cost recovery come back to life, and waiting government they provide now for ensure say it create the enabling environment for the private partner for do the business. Where the operations don't go through the year, with the contract management team and the directorates of pharmaceutical services will do a review of the process and see and establish whether this business will make profit or not.
calling on the private partner them or the private sector for come and help government and certain sector them not always new even His Excellency in most of his speech them don't they encourage the private sector for come on board for implement different programs them. Now una they try for introduce the PPP model again where we don't tap operations. The environment for let una give the free space to them private sector there so for let them come and compete for see who that get the capacity for implement some of them projects there now one. Now the Ministry of Health this way you na the focal person.
Correct.
How una go ensure say una give free space to the private sector them for let them compete the way we capable for do some of them things there so as for example running a pharmacy in a connaught hospital. Now one way a bit challenging. How una go open up the space for people them for let them compete and una select una feel say they up to the task.
So like I said earlier, we don't do the process for identify the private partner. And as part of the arrangement, from the day we select the private partner, every bit of the process we include the private partner. We go you see the place, you understand the issues that they happen at the place, and every issue that arise, we don't resolve. And I make the contract management team day, we include the private partner in your own team, again lawyer, again your technical people. Then the ministry itself gets your own technical people. That contract management team is chaired by the chief pharmacist, Mr. Jack Lansana. So every other thing then Miss FDD as the private sector development person for provide that guidance. I mean, in terms of pricing, in terms of profitability, anything we get for do with ensuring, say, the private partner gets what he's supposed to get for creates the enable environment for them. So,
okay. So, what's not the plans them way una don't put in place for make this be sustainable? Because most times, if government and private sector go into business, we they see like the private sector can try for like withdraw because of the risk we involved and how much they don't put into it, and you know they get that in return. Because I asked you just now about the profits where then go they get afterwards, so able for manage the pharmacy. So, how best una go don what are una plans that una don't put in place for make this could be sustainable for lay last longer?
Okay, so one of the major risks we cost recovery be the face now the procurement of drugs. So now, so initially the arrangement for the National Medical Supplies Agency (NMSA) supposed for buy we government they give them seed money supposed for buy drugs and and sell to the private partner at a reasonable and affordable price. That private partner now the way buy them now that's it they use and sell below market price. But at the moment, NMSA now young organization, a young agency, they're not able to buy drugs at this point in time. Probably by next year they will be capacitated enough for buy drugs. So the private partner go to the market, they go buy their own drugs, and they can sell them below market price. That's one. Two, we ensure say we get a monitoring system where we ensure say the doctors them suppose for the prescription direct them to the pharmacy. Yeah? And we also, in fact, this is a thing where we invite the public because I mean, part of the sustainability, we know the benefits for all man. Now, for ensure, say, we people them way we don't they sell drugs under the table, not they sell where patients get prescription, not sell drugs under the table. Okay, so the civil society, the Anti-Corruption Commission, everybody invited, everybody supposed for see and supposed for help for monitor this process. So that one of the major risks, Dandy, for where people then would divert the prescription for buy within the system.
Talking about prescription, Cyrus, for this first pilot phase of the cost recovery program, when they introduced now the connaught teaching hospital, for go be successful, the well body will command them get a great role for play.
Certainly.
Because now then they write the prescription,
Certainly.
and some well body will command them can even go as far as recommending a certain pharmacy say if you go here, you go able to forget these drugs. How well on been try for incorporate them in the planning process? Say, this aspect of the PPP we don't cease from 2013, but one for reintroduce them back. How well on involved there for let them see reasons the need for work with the private sector for ensure say this phase be successful.
Yeah. So like I said, we started the process in 2019, early 2019, where we formed the technical working group. That technical working group they include the PPP units, or the Office of Vice President, the connaught management, then the Ministry of Health technical people, the MISF, and then we get external partner, Crown agents, where they provide the secretarial support services. So we involve the connaught management. We do feasibility studies. We understand get patient bed ratio. We understand almost like the patient turnover way the hospital they get per day, per month, and try for determine sustainability of the business. Yeah. So in fact, that information we put into the bid. We make bidders then come inside. So yes, to a question, we include the connaught management team and the well representative of well body will command them for let them give their own inputs and their own advice. The pharmacist and the connaught manager.
All right, continue for the the program. In case you just tune in, that's the voice of Cyrus Sheriff, and in the public-private partnership focal person at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Today we the program, they tell we about the cost recovery program where then they try for reintroduce again at the PPP unit, and then they launch the cost recovery program where then they introduce now the connaught teaching hospital today at the hospital.
The program na Good Morning Salon, where they come to you live from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Well, at the studio, we get Cyrus Sheriff, the spokesperson for public-private partnership in health. They also for talk about the cost recovery program, where the Ministry of Health don't begin back as na pharmacy, na connaught, na the first pilot phase. Okay, you don't talk about from una starts waiting at the impact we una don't create and una don't already go in partnership with private sector we go on for can invest in this pharmacy. But before then, we may get the PPP way being the operate. Waiting have been the challenges we this being gets and waiting una go able for land from and for lay una not go make that same mistake this time around. The cost recovery. Sorry.
So cost recovery been there.
Yes,
like
the cost recovery.
Cost recovery, government be done the operator, government will be done the operator. And the people are not going to get much benefit. Sometimes in day you go the either the drugs not available, sometimes a Panadol or Sepskin they meet today, or sometimes you go
so waiting will be the problem. We una go learn from una not go make that same mistake there.
Part of the thing where we studies and we observation take now that one it take longer process for like government to do procurement of drugs. And secondly, we know the human factor. People also normally show efficiency in managing the stock at that point in time. We also notice, say, then and the pricing mechanism not be too proper. So yes, they go sell, but sometimes waiting for come back to government, they do. So let's say, for example, government take 1 million for buy drugs, yeah? So say you sell, where they return back to government because the sustainability aspects of farm. Now, for ensure, say the money, if government give 1 million, at least let the 1 million come back to government. You know what I mean? So that 1 million, if you not come back, so say 700 come, government not going to buy 1 million worth of drugs again. You go now 700,000 drugs you go buy, okay? And so if we now all land we don't see say that they not go able, not sustainable. So we dey try this model, when at the PPP model, where we don't study in other regions and other countries, and see they don't they work very well, yeah. So the PPP model now we encourage the private partner now for come we able buying drugs or at a point where government will get opportunities for sell drugs to them. Always and always let drugs there. So the time government will buy like at this point in time, we not be buy for meet up this particular activity, the private partner gets resources enough because that resources they bring to the table for let make sure say buy the drugs and let it available and affordable to the people because like the key that they what they look for. Ensure say the drugs are available, they are accessible, and then affordable to the people of this country.
Availability and for letting drugs they be affordable, according to you, now, one of the key things they look for.
Sure.
But again, we don't really the issues of expired drugs, them they flood the market over the years, and pharmacy board don't they come out year in year out to talk about them challenges there. So now they try for encourage the private sector for come into the medical aspect of and wants them for coming for let them bring quality and affordable drugs. The monitoring aspect of now one, Mr. Sheriff. How the under the PPP model where they try for you to reduce cost recovery, go monitor for ensure say then they carry with medicine them we not go bring problem again to the patients them.
So technically, I think we have 3 or one call and tripartite monitoring systems. We get the contract management team where they ensure say the drugs then and they are available and at all times. We get the pharmacy board when they work and they we like any other pharmacy when they go for they go inspect and look at them from their drugs and make sure they're in compliance with everything we did. Then we also get the Directorate of Pharmaceutical Services when I did the Ministry of Health. Then self gets a role for playing at this pharmacy. So there's a tripartite monitoring systems. I don't think say anyone can go fail for ensure say we get the correct drugs, the drugs that are available, and the drugs that are accessible to the people.
I bring in the issue of the monitoring aspect because we don't see certain projects them, like if the bidder don't win a certain contract, the monitoring aspect can be challenging. And this gets to do with health. Let it not be say if the private sector win this contract, whoever get for be the person where go they run the pharmacy at the connaught teaching hospital, the ministry go just left and for they do certain things the way in feel say that the right thing is for do.
Okay, so let's go back. The contract management team will involve the private partner and the ministry. Now that body day, now they make sure say they supervise, provide operational and technical oversight. Now the operation of the business. Then you also get pharmacy board. You also get DPS. In fact, long left NMSA. NMSA they role now for procure, store and distribute drugs. So then self they inside the mix. Then self they part of the contract management team. But inside the own mandate, then self gets responsibility for make sure see this company, Marriage Trading and last year Chemist, they make sure say they get. So we launched the bid. I still remember now 4 bidders that then they bid. We go through the technical phase, we go through the financial phase, and then we can go now the respective regulatory agencies, NPPA, law officers. They look at the contracts, they look at everything, for make sure say all things in compliance with the laws of Sierra Leone. Then eventually we arrive at a particular the competitive bidder and national procurement people in the sea. So we don't get this bidder now, we sign a contract with them. So we went through all of the legal gymnastics, like I said.
Okay. So in terms of quality, because people then can say anything we no get better cost, like way cheap basically, because now cost recovery una no go get for sell and the normal price. Anything way cheap, get that kind of quality. So in terms of quality of the drugs them, how na don't ensure say this private sector person go able for come with quality drugs them for selling at this pharmacy.
So before this private partner come, even put the drugs the way they did now, he provide a list of the drugs. We get technical people, we get the National Medical Supplies Agency, NMSA, we get the Directorate of Pharmaceutical Services. They look at the drugs, look them and how they call them, vet them thoroughly for ensuring quality drugs they carry. And when the private partner carry the drug, then 2 people there, then go inspect the drugs, then see them. And before they get a license, the pharmacy board also go ensure say the drugs that we did now of quality. So, like I say, the main aim of this particular model is to ensure we have a quality drugs available, we get them accessible, and then be affordable to the people of this country.
So what's this contractor way we dey talk about? So yes, we don't get contract for only pharmacy now, the connaught teaching hospital. Government in return, una been by any chance collect anything from the contractor? If yes, who side the money bingo?
We not collect anything from the contractor. It be the bid, of course. So we bid. We not take money from them and nothing. So waiting we do now that when you bid, in the bid, it say, me, want to take this space. I can't remember the size of the place again. I think it's about 35 square meters or something. I can't remember. But you say, this is not the space, for example, this room, this is what I want. You say, I go renovate them and I go invest this amount of money for make sure say they up to standard. That's what she did.
So benefit-wise, waiting government stand for gain?
So waiting government the gain is government has a social responsibility to the people of this country.
Which is?
One, for ensure say drugs are available when the patients need them. Because it's an embarrassment where a patient in a hospital and hospital don't get pharmacy.
So what's in the private sector in they expect?
The private sector they sell the drugs.
No, in terms of profits making.
Yeah, they make profits. They make your own profits. If not they make profits, it's not good.
I be asked you earlier before Wani asked the question, say in return, now this private sector don't take according to you the certain place, say they renovate them, stock them with all necessary drugs them for let patients who they go to the hospital, they not strain for get drugs them. In return, government not stand for gain anything?
Well, now that's the government again. What's in government's objective now for make sure say the patient and they get drugs and they get affordable and drugs they all 24 hours round the clock. Now in that pharmacy get for open. So the waiting, let me say, the PPP model now, government, it's a win-win situation. Government, they win on one hand, the private partner, they win on the other hand. So the private partner, we don't put in money, we sell, and they do in numbers. And I mean, at a point, we go for the time and see and determine, and instead we say, okay, now this are my losses, and this are my profits. That's it. What we interested in, what in the government and the country interested in, and for let the drugs that are available to me and you. And say you want to go buy aspirin, you want to go buy Panadol, a day affordable, all time, and in not day like you are within the sell, now any other pharmacy outside connaught.
Cyrus, you sure say this particular program will be sustainable because most of the well-body workman them within a connaught, then get their own patients them within the see, and most time when they can go see them patient, then they self can get their own, some can get your own private clinic where they run a pharmacy, some can get a recommended pharmacy where they send you say go buy medicine at this side. You think say then go left for recommend to them patient them for buying a certain place them and decide for going at this pharmacy where na the PPP model where una they try for reintroduce again?
So generally the policy say when a doctor or a pharmacist in a place where they attend to patients, where you don't do make prescription, you're supposed for go na the cost recovery pharmacy. So that's the policy. Anything whether doctor or nurse and anybody do outside and now, it tantamount to corruption. So it's a responsibility of you and I and the public for say, hey, no, what they do? And me, when are the patients when they go to the doctor for ensure say, wait, don't give me this prescription. Hey, before I go buy Panadol to a pharmacy where they outside for 10,000 euros, why not go buy outside then they sell like 8,000 euros? Okay? I mean, I agree with you. When we set a system, people always they beat a system at any point in time. Okay, so we don't put a system in place for ensure say they not beat them. But if somebody thinks it's smart enough and beat them, I sure say if they catch them, the law will take in course.
This pharmacy previously, before the introduction of the private sector for beginning on the pharmacy, then different hospital they were believe say this phase una go try for introduce and other hospital them apart from the connaught teaching hospital. Before this particular program, una they try for come up with the pharmacy the way the hospital then can run. A source of income for the pharmacy them where they can take for one some of the other necessary things them of the hospital. Now when they introduce the private sector for one their pharmacy there, so how the hospital then go able for benefit from this particular venture?
Okay, so the hospital only pharmacy that the cost recovery pharmacy apart from the free healthcare drugs. So this cost recovery pharmacy not be done in operation since 2013. Any other parallel operation will be done in the connaught hospital or any other hospital, it's an illegal arrangement. Okay? So the introduction of this cost recovery pharmacy now using the private partner model is supposed for bridge that gap where the pharmacy not been there. And it's supposed for automatically kill any other parallel markets will be non-day. Okay? So, I mean, I cannot speak for the pharmacy that way then they out. Then the general public itself, not to the patient no more. This pharmacy within inside connaught, it serve the patients them as well as the public. But in fundamental or in primary clients, like the patients that we the kind of connaught hospital.
Now, because of this reason, me make I ask you earlier if we have been able for consult the well-body workman them part of this arrangement.
Sure.
And the senior doctors them and then hospital layers so can get more say in way camp and drugs business and prescription.
Yes.
How well will I be able for consult the senior doctor them in connaught hospital?
We engage them. We get the connaught management and connaught manager daily. Now they talk to them every day. So when the process started in 2019, I still remember, I think it was in May, we formed the technical working group. We continuously engage them with the pharmacies, the way they with the directorates of pharmaceutical services, where we get a sitting pharmacist inside it. So we engage them and we even go ahead for ask them the range of drugs that they normally require. So yes, that was really professionally done.
Okay, so most times na then government hospital that we can get pharmacy where the nurses or the doctors then can don't prescribe drugs for you. If we go to the pharmacy, then we'll tell you say these drugs not available. So how best una they do for ensure say drugs them always available for people and for buying at that particular cost recovery pharmacy?
So two things. One, na the private partner your responsibility for so make sure say you get all the range of drugs.
But now I get for the monitor.
Of course. So let me I take them two tier. The private partner gets in fundamental responsibility for say and for make sure say all the drugs in D. NMSA and DPS get for also ensure say the drugs they were supposed for they, and then they constantly monitor this private partner for make sure so they get drugs. NMS say when they capacitated enough, maybe by the end of the year or next year rolling, then go make sure so that they provide the range of drugs that we supposed for them at the pharmacy. So once that is done, the monitoring now will be a little lesser.
All right, continue for the between the program. In case you just a tune in, you dey listen to Cyrus Sheriff, one of the focal person for the public-private partnership unit under the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Today between the program, they talk about the cost recovery program where they go launch today at the Connaught Teaching Hospital. And they try for introduce this aspect of the PPP for ensure say according to medicine and then at the cost recovery pharmacy at the Connaught Hospital all time for a cheaper rate, and then medicine there also will be of quality. Let's come back to you, Mr. Sheriff. What about a situation wherein the range of drugs them where maybe the well body workman go don't prescribe for a particular patient in order to the cost recovery? In that situation, everything go happen.
Well, then if the drugs where the doctor don't prescribe in all day at all under the pharmacy, I think see the last option are for let the patients go source them outside. So then they will not get much option, but with the ensure say the technical body them within the ministry, NMS and directors of pharmaceutical services, therefore they make sure say the regular range of drugs, for the day where you get them one off the range one away sometimes some strange ailments, they will say okay we'll all use this particular one. But I think one thing I know about drugs business, if you left to waiting the doctor one right. If you say, for example, when they called branded drugs and generic drugs, if one particular drug, if doctor say Palpana, this particular brand of drugs again, and I the problem can come. So the doctors no say, and they always encourage them. The technical people always encourage them for let them provide the generic drugs.
So I know of certain specialized medicine them where I would say not they fit into the cost recovery program. For example, medicine them of cardiac, medicine them of cancer, were very, very much expensive. And when you look at the cost recovery pharmacy, according to what you don't say, now for let people able get affordable and quality medicine then they. So their medicine they are not able to fit into the cost recovery program, we're very much expensive. How una go ensure say una talk with maybe the person we don't get the contract for let go see how we go able fit them into the program.
Yeah, so this is a continuous engagement. So when the partner instead gets a schedule of the requests that we can to them always, and instead for the constantly engage the doctors them for know the demands and for know the type of drugs that they ask for. So in the process, instead we put mechanism in place for make sure say then drugs and they. So what you call expensive drugs, no matter the cost, waiting will they achieve Nayana that it will be a little below waiting they sell at the market. So if you go buy a certain drugs for 50,000 or 100,000, for example, if that private partner able buy them, outsource them somewhere, it's supposed to sell them below 100,000 to the public.
Okay, so in terms of selecting pharmacists, them way go they na this pharmacy, na the Ministry of Health or na the private sector?
Partner like out in pharmacists.
Okay, so how best una dey able for select pharmacists them for work na this pharmacy?
We know this, the private partner like out in pharmacists them, and then go through the process for let them vet them.
Okay, so how una go monitor say not to any kind pharmacist, you just go carry it and put na the pharmacy?
Go through the process, so then we ask them whether you side the work, whether you certificate, whether you understand. So they get their own checklist of what they look out for. Okay,
so most times where government can put on pass something, people not can get that much confidence in that, especially where they go get for sell the drugs them cheaper. People then go feel say no get that kind of quality. So what you go do for like put confidence in people them for able for buy them drugs here?
This na one maker na one of the make a kaya. For let people know say, cost recovery don't come back. And they don't come back with quality. They will get a private partner we don't operate pharmacy business over 5 to 10 years. People, the public gets opportunity now for go see the farmer. When you say go see, you go know say which side they talk na true. So the private partner get responsibility, and we all for ensure say the place is kept clean, the quality drugs they there, and all things affordable. 10 o'clock we will launch the pharmacy they go live.
All right, continue for the week 3 in the program.
So if the private sector not live to the expectation of the terms and condition of the project during this pilot phase, which one I go do?
So the contracts, every year the contract management team will review jointly with the private partner. So every year we do a review with a checklist for see which go right, which not go right. If you get a fundamental breach of the contract, then the provision they we call for penalties or for rescind the contract. So that is clear in the terms.
They launched the cost recovery program today, and most especially when they launch, I go begin operate fully.
By God power.
Waiting go happen now to the pharmacy will be in at the Connaught Hospital.
Like I said, pharmacy not mean day. Waiting day. The cost recovery pharmacy we don't stop for 2013. Waiting else been day na the free health care pharmacy than the day. It's still a run. The free health care. So this cost recovery now the pharmacy we supposed for done day where it don't close 2013, but it don't officially open. They officially open till the 10 o'clock. Where the minister will get for go commission and open them. So after that day, now the only pharmacy that day, apart from the free health care, was legally supposed to operate today.
So as of now, the free healthcare pharmacy, according to you, and this cost recovery pharmacy could do one hand in hand?
Yeah, now two different places then. The cost recovery at one point, the free healthcare then your own spot. We're in a small unit because really cannot get too much of free healthcare people.
So as per the contract, waiting at the duration, like how long this private sector go able to open this pharmacy now? This
the initial contract are for 3 years, but it gets option for we renew them every year. But the contracts are 3 years. We review them, not to renew. We review them every year.
What one they look for during the term they want the review? When they look for if this contractor able to live up to the task?
Sure. If like I said, the different monitoring systems, I don't tell you, but the three tripartite monitoring systems we did. All man get for the doing your independent reports and get for the engage them quarterly, and NMSA and DPS get for do their own internal, or they get for the audits of the system. So when the time reach and we internal audit system self and whosoever they come audit, anything when the time reach, they will sit down, they look at them. You be supposed to do A, B, C, D. How far you do them, how well you do them, how effective you do them, how efficient you do them. And so now that's thing, and from the top of my head now, I'm not going to tell you what's inside the terms and conditions we then go for look for, but there are key things and deliverables where you're supposed to meet we then they review annually.
So what's not the plans for people them we get where they apply in the hospital, the way they apply for go this cost recovery program now applying hospital?
Thank you very much. In fact, then at the next phase, the process of the next phase we don't start like 6 months ago. We don't do the tender, expression of interest, but they don't show. That process they go on small. But what we do, we collect the data we will call lessons learned in the process. We take these 2 years, all the things that we learn, the stakeholders that we involved, the bottlenecks that we get, the hurdles them, we document that into lessons learned. We use now for rollouts to the region. So right now we don't send the bid out. Public people they don't apply or they don't bid for Bo, Kenema, Port Loko, and Makeni, the 4 regional.
During them bidding process here, so we get for do it, especially government contracts them. Don't there is so many issues that we get for do with corruption, especially in the selection stage. Now they favor business go come, some man go and say, oh, I guess Sababu and all. If even competent for get the contract, but through that in Sababu they can end up get the contract and later on issues of anti-corruption. During them bidding process here, so Cyrus, how not going to ensure say una do them without no favor the person we competent for run the pharmacy then and then different hospital there, so una one for introduce the cost recovery program gets the contract.
Yeah, so for this pilot phase, now one example, we do them free and fair without favor because we get independent people the way they do. PPP units come, we get NMSA come, Directorate of Pharmaceutical Services come, I think we get somebody from finance also, the procurement people. One of them in camp at this process where they help for evaluate the process. So it was difficult for you circumvent all man together. I can clearly and tell you say there's a transaction Bible where they start from who side we start to who side we end. onto the contracting stage. So everything they available to public at any time and at any point in time. Let people watch them and see. No encumbrance, no interference, no fear, no favor, no. I mean, no. I think no interference will not take place.
You said the process don't start 6 months back.
No. For the regional,
the second phase.
Yeah,
now
regional,
talk about. You say it don't start 6 months back. People don't start for bid and all. When it will be the stage of completion?
So we, from the top of my head, we want to complete them before this year done.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to complete because there's a roadmap we work on right now. After this launch, now the process leading to this launch, now don't slow it down small, because the leadership of the ministry is very particular about rolling this to the regions as well. All so right. After this launch, the next phase of the activity in Anandi for ensure say we roll out to the regions.
Okay, so how frequent una get for the do assessments of the services? How frequent? No, the private sector.
The private
services,
sector connaught? Yeah.
Yes, how frequent una get for the do assessing the services?
I think then they do the technical people, the DPS, NMSA, and the cultural management gets for the good quarterly and just observe. For especially when at the first day they start, maybe monthly, then we begin go quarterly, and then the yearly review.
All right. Continue for the week the program. Cyrus Sheriff, in the focal person for the public-private partnership at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. They talk about the cost recovery program. We then go launch today at the Connaught Teaching Hospital. For reintroduce this program again, Usai then go begin run the cost recovery pharmacy. Usai, according to all the word body workman and Connaught go send them patients in for buy the medicine then. And safe later on, it talk about the other places, then Bo, McKinney, Kenema, where they don't start the bidding process for do the second phase of this program, na them parts in the country. Cyrus, una they try for reintroduce, una they try for reintroduce the cost recovery program na some parts them na the country, na the government hospitals them. Okay. So, but they don't they listen to you the things that we don't talk about, the benefits them where this cost recovery program go bring na the health sector go on for say. Maybe the Ministry of Health don't forget about the PHUs them. We're very important as some of them community them.
Okay, take that maybe. The Ministry of Health not forget about the PHUs them. So the PHUs them, the leadership of the ministry also they work for develop another model, another concept for cost recovery drugs then at the PHU level. I mean PHU now like the community health centers and the other lower levels in the hospitals in the communities. So yes, that program they on, and shortly when we finalize this the scheme where they work, then the public will know when we roll out.
All right. I talk about say maybe una don't forget, the Minister of Health don't forget about the PHUs then, because over the years we don't hear them PHUs there, so they complain about drugs. Correct. Especially drugs that we get for do with the free healthcare initiative and self the CHO them can complain about condition of service and all that in there. So now they try for reintroduce the cost recovery program, waiting at the packages for them PHUs there. So as let them say feel like say the ministry they member them say they are very important people in the community that start the work.
Sure. So in addition to the free healthcare, I must say, then the ministry they try for develop a program way for target the PHU specifically, because this second phase what they do now for the regional or the district hospitals, the hospital then are in different region, Bo Hospital, Kenma Government Hospital, McKinney Government Hospital, and local government hospital for the Northwest. So for at the PHU level, we also design and package a program for meets the one in their level, and in addition to the free health care. When the system don't broke for years, it take time for develop and come out with a sustainable system for ensure say any program we introduce a last. Okay, so that is also on. Like I say, we take with time and it's a phase level. By the time we're done with regional, hopefully maybe before the end of the year, by the time we're done with the regional level, I sure say can come well side by side. We go also they do the one for the PHU.
Okay, most times upline can get issues with medical business in terms of medicine, drugs and all. So if you now want for care go this pilot phase now upline this pharmacy and a private sector go get for run how best who's plans them extra plans them una don't put for upline for see una go monitor them private sector and for able fit into them upline hospital. Yeah.
So already now how they say we get problem for let us reach upline, then we don't solve that problem from 2018, 2019. the National Medical Supply Agency, on a quarterly basis, they ensure say drug reach what they call the last mile, the last PHU in every corner of this country. I think when I can be out with me at a point with the whole of 2019 and part of 2020, then we know they do a broadcast drug distribution scheme where they carry good drug all man they know. So we go just ride on that platform there also for make sure say the partner the way the program then the model way they choose at that PHU level will also be effective and efficient. No doubt the NMSA and get professionals. We work with them and the directors of pharmaceutical services and the pharmacy board for develop this program for ensure say we have an effective and sustainable system at the PHU level.
Earlier, when you start for talk, you lay emphasis on the affordability of the drugs they get for dinner, the cost recovery pharmacy. And when you talk about affordability, nothing where the least person go able for afford. How now go ensure say them medicine there so we go dinner this cost recovery pharmacy? The price them not be the same like other pharmacy them where people can walk in and buy their medicine then.
Correct. So part of the requirements of the private partner for let it display in price list. So if we don't share in price list with we don't compare with the one at the general market. It is below the market price. So we get for ensure say it always display them. So if you go there today, you see say then tell you say then they sell, for example, diclofenac above waiting is supposed to sell them. You get right for alert the ministry and anybody, police and anybody, okay. But I think say you get right for alert the ministry and say, this one I say cost recovery, this person don't sell at this price. Bring them with an evidence which you see say they don't sell and give above market price. But yes, the private partner has a responsibility for like display in price.
So because of now upline, people then can tend for take advantage of the situation, so they might not sell the drugs the expected price. So okay, when I get people them
sure.
Okay.
So like let me say all the parts of the model we will develop for ensure say at PHE level we have a sustainable and effective system, because when we launch as a pilot, we also monitor the record the what do you call it? We record the systems, take stock of what they happen, the incidents the way they happen, lessons learned. We also go record them and use them as part of the model what they develop at the district level or regional level and at the PHU level as well.
Okay.
All right. Many thanks. We join me at the program. Cyrus Sheriff. But before you go quickly, waiting go be a word of assurance to the public and patients within at the connaught teaching hospital. We get for the visit the cost recovery pharmacy after when I don't launch and today. Now you go assure the public say by tomorrow it go be up and running and all drugs them go be available at the cost recovery pharmacy.
By God in power, today 10 o'clock now the nursing school hall. Now they will do the ceremony and they go cut the tape and officially open the cost recovery. Cost recovery will be done start for operates from 2013. Famulem cost recovery operations don't come back in a connaught hospital. They start with connaught hospital. So let us not go na Okupa hospital or Kiaba would say, hey, I look for cost recovery. No. For now, we don't start on a connaught hospital. Now they cost recovery don't start. So if you get patients and you want drugs in a connaught hospital, cost recovery hospital did it now, where we run on a public-private partnership system with a private partner, effective and efficient. We don't launch at today 10 o'clock. They assure the public on behalf of the ministry, say the pharmacy go open 24 hours around the clock. Anytime, any hour you go there, people can go there for serve you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Cyrus
listeners. Thank
Sheriff,
you,
in at the focal person for the public-private partnership at the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Well, today then they opened the cost recovery pharmacy at the connaught teaching hospital under the cost recovery program where then they try for implement now all government hospital them and safe according to them, then they try for incorporate the PHUs them inside this program, let them safe benefits. Well, now the program, Good Morning Salon Golefi for today on edition. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kuhlman and then produce the program. DJ Lava and give you technical support. Moses Kavora and I make on watch we live now Facebook page. And to all with Facebook viewers them, we want for say many thanks. We see on our messages them and we continue for stay tuned to Radio Democracy throughout the day. We'll get interesting programs them for you. At 12, we get midday show. We now the current affairs program with lot of news and information in day. 7 o'clock in the evening at 10 for national news. At 9 Nanette, we get other current affairs program within the B. Instead gets plenty news and information in day. Mina Khadija Bangura they say get yourself a lovely weekend.
And Mina Waniga Oja they say bye bye.